For South Surrey White Rock.
Hear, hear. Very good, Mr. Speaker. Thank you. We heckling already before I've even begun. Mr. Speaker, rising for the first time in the 44th Parliament, I have in mind the mandate given to me by the good people of South Surrey White Rock. But just before that, I want to commend all British Columbia MPs in this House who showed passion, care, and solutions last night in the emergency debate on British Columbia. The mandate I was given was made very clear to me when I met with neighbours, friends, struggling small business owners, some who lost their businesses during the pandemic lockdowns, and voters at their doors. Go to Ottawa for us. Our armed forces are demoralized by constant criticism without the balance of recognition for their hard work and indeed their heroism. The CAF would have appreciated at least a shout out from the throne speech this week, but nothing there. Veterans are suffering because this government left many Afghan allies behind to be hunted down by the Taliban. The issues we need to address in this Parliament are too numerous to outline in a short speech. We are choosing here to either advocate for Canadians in person in this House or allow MPs, despite vaccination proof, masks, and precautions throughout the parliamentary precinct, to stay distant on Zoom screens. This is an unnecessary buffer between the government and the scrutiny of the Canadian people through its opposition parties. It's kind of like two people trying to talk to each other with two masks on each through a plexiglass with plexiglass between them. We've all been there. The Trudeau Liberal government received, the government received just 32% of the popular vote. Unfortunately, government is formed by which party wins the most individual ridings, not the overall vote count. But you would think, Mr. Speaker, that result would give this government some humility, some understanding that Canadians, I forgot to say I'm splitting my time with the member from Regina Louvain. Sorry about that. That Canadians are looking for accountability and rigorous scrutiny. But no, the Prime Minister has already said numerous times that this government has a clear mandate. Does it? With 32% of the vote? I'm not at all sure that Canadians would agree, and I know that people in my riding decidedly do not. I'm very proud of our Westminster parliamentary system, refined over centuries, of commoners elected by free people of free will in a free democracy to hold those in power to account and, when required, to ensure a peaceful transition of power. A forum that provides a robust challenge function to those entrusted to govern us. A system where even the head of government and ministers are expected to participate in our form of question and answer debate, the back and forth of question period. This makes the Prime Minister and his leadership team directly accountable to the people. Another hallmark is a professional civil service that supports our significant work here. They are subject to the government's mandatory policies requiring them to be vaccinated or prove an accepted exemption. They're here because they are in compliance. We are here because we are in compliance. There can be no honest suggestion that the House of Commons is somehow more hazardous a workplace than any other in Canada. Her Majesty's official opposition is the caucus most seized with keeping the government in check and to stand ready to assume government, equally tasked with upholding the best interests of the country writ large. It is built into this system that Parliament demonstrably provides the best way to hold government to account, which is and always has been in person. The vast majority of workers in my riding don't have the option to work in a hybrid fashion and are clear it's a condition of their continued employment to be double vaccinated and wear masks. Some have lost their jobs as a result and are in great need. Most have obeyed these requirements and don't expect their elected MPs to be exempt from the rules that they must abide by. They don't expect us to have an elitist special accommodation. We are here to represent them, not ourselves, just because it's more convenient or comfortable for some to stay at home. No doubt we all want to be home more. As a BC MP, Ottawa is a 4,300-kilometer commute for me. But we just had 20 months doing our work from home and by Zoom. Should any individual MP require accommodation for a short time due to health, family, or MP-related travel reasons, those exceptions can be made. What about pairing, which has been brought up by others? Every opposition MP noted that even when we were allowed to be here in limited numbers, Liberal ministers often chose to participate by Zoom from their parliamentary offices. They should be in question period to answer the questions put to them. It is not backbench members of Parliament tasked with responding, ever. So, is it important to my constituents that we do our parliamentary work in person? Not one told me that it's a good idea, unless we have no other choice to be safe. I'd like to share with this House, through you, Mr. Speaker, what some South Surrey White Rock folks tell me, because they care about what we do in this place, and these are all exact quotes. Dorothy, my only wish is that Mr. Rhoda, meaning the Speaker, will halt question period to new questions if the Minister refuses to answer the question put forward. Canadians deserve better than they've been receiving from this Parliament. Dawn, looking forward to seeing you in action, in person. Speaking to the devastation in BC, Patsy said both levels of government were late to the table. Wade simply said, fix it. When I posted my appointment as a Shadow Minister for National Defence, Dawn wrote, Canada so desperately needs a serious voice on our national defence. Julie, got a big job there, but keep on the minister. Colin, ask the new Minister of National Defence about her government's lack of commitment to the previously announced timeline for the $19 billion purchase of fighter jets. Marie said, I do hope you will finally be able to get back to Ottawa, should we have a real government someday. Alana, please do what you can. It is very scary what's happening. I have so many examples of people saying, of course we do work in our ridings, of course that's work, and of course it's important. But what we do here is unique, and we are voted in to represent people who cannot have a voice here. Darlene said, ethics in government means everything to me. Let's change the culture of Ottawa. No more scandals, no more corruption. Others' issues are rebuilding their families' devastated small business, deep deficit, the concern about the country perhaps going bankrupt. Javier said, we need a government that cares about our economy. The Parliament is an absolute mess due to the, present government. Veterans groups want a military covenant and a military Bill of Rights. There is just so many issues that need to be addressed here. We have all struggled through poor audio, poor video, intermittent connectivity, MPs embarrassing themselves, that seem to usually be on the government side, on screen, missed votes, overzealous use of the mute button, and straining of resources in both the House and in committee. That's enough. I urge my fellow parliamentarians not to give unto ourselves special accommodations not afforded to millions of workers in this country, not to choose comfort over solemn duty. If we can send 276 delegates to COP26, the most in the G7, we can buck up and have 338 MPs in this House of Commons. We all just took a new oath to conduct ourselves in the best interests of our country. That means being in our workplace, doing our work. We have riding time set aside. The voters chose us to be their voice in this place, in person. Let's get to work. Hear, hear.